Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rich Bradley, President of the Board of Public Service. This is the September 14th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Public Service. We do not have any lettings today, but we do have a hearing. And so I would ask at this time, if we could bring in our conditional use permittee. Are they online?
Terrell.
Terrell.
Does he know? Terrell?
Yes.
Is our conditional use permittee online?
Yes,
Great.
that'll be Terrell.
I'm sorry?
That's Terrell Island.
Okay, but he's not our conditional use applicant, right? No.
No,
Okay. All right, very good. So let's have hearing number 128269 RH for Dutchtown Market LLC. This is a revisitation hearing. Hearing number 128269 RH is being conducted pursuant to section 26.100.030 Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of this continued hearing is to determine whether to revoke conditional use permit numbered as 128269 issued for Dutchtown Market LLC, CO Jobran Salem, to occupy 2821 Merrimack Street as a convenience store, subject to certain conditions. The parties have been notified of the violations of the conditions of this conditional use permit in writing by certified mail, along with the posted notice of today's hearing date. This hearing has been convened in order to address issues surrounding conditions number 2, number 5, number 6, and number 8 of the conditional use permit, and the conditions in question are as follows. Condition number 2, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or are intended drug paraphernalia as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use as a controlled substance, examples of which include but are not limited to the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Flitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo and Garcia, Vega, and Game. Condition 5, the applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting signage, and the signage must be professionally prepared and approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. Condition number 6, there shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted to the exterior of the windows or doors of this establishment at any given time. Condition number 8, all windows and doors must have no boards, mesh, grates, materials, or coverings of any kind. Windows and doors may have proper blinds or curtains on the inside of the windows. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the zoning administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 128269 issued for Dutchtown Market LLC, CO Jabron Salem to occupy 2821 Merrimack Street as a convenience store subject to certain conditions. Item 3, a memorandum dated May 10th, 2021 from the zoning plan examiner to the zoning administrator stating that on May 10th, 2021, the zoning inspector found violations of conditions number 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs of these violations. Item 4, a letter dated May 13th, 2021, sent to Dutchtown Market LLC, CO Jabron Salem at 2821 Merrimack Street from the zoning inspector warning the violations of conditions number 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the permit that were found upon a recent site inspection and a potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 5, a letter dated May 13th, 2021, sent to Jobron Salem, CO Dutchtown Market LLC at 1027 Century Oaks Drive, Unit O, from the zoning inspector warning of the violations of the conditions numbered 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the permit that were found upon a recent site inspection and a potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days date of the letter. Item 6, a letter dated May 13th, 2021, sent to 2821 Merrimack LLC at 2821 Merrimack Street from the zoning inspector warning the violations of conditions number 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the permit that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days date of the letter. Item 7, a letter dated May 13th, 2021, sent to 2821 Merrimack LLC, CO Habib Mohammed at 905 Broadhurst Drive from the zoning inspector warning of violations of conditions number 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the permit that were found upon a recent site inspection and a potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days date of the letter. Item 8, a letter dated May 13th, 2021, sent to Rob A. Latvia, CO 2821 Merrimack LLC at 1750 South Brentwood Boulevard, Suite 295, from the zoning inspector warning of the violations of conditions number 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the permit that were found upon a recent site inspection and a potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days date of the letter. Item 9, a memorandum dated June 7th, 2021, from the zoning and planning examiner to the zoning administrator stating that on June 7th, 2021, the zoning inspector found violations of conditions 2, 5, 6, and 8 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs of these violations. Item 10, a copy of certified letters dated August 30th, 2021, sent to the conditional use permit holder and the property owner from the board secretary providing notice of today's hearing. And item number 11, a copy of the public notice posted for today's hearing. At this time, the board asks a representative of the Office of Zoning Administrator, please come forward and be sworn in.
Are you ready, Dre?
Hi, Terrell. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Terrell Island, acting zoning inspector for the city. And I did an investigation, a follow-up investigation for Dutchtown Market LLC on yesterday, September 13th. And I still found in violation the 4 conditions that were previously in violation. That's Condition number 2, in regard to the selling of items that can be used or intended for use as drug paraphernalia, as defined in Ordinance 68404. There were still backwoods, White Owl, and Swisher Sweets cigarillos on the shelf when I went to the store per the pictures that I took. And number 5, the applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting signage. And the signage must be professionally prepared and approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. Now, although the applicant has put forth efforts to remove some posters and signage from the storefront window and from the fence on the premises, there are still signs in the window advertising pizza and tripe, which is a kind of a delicacy from a cow, and for which there are no permits. So yeah, he's still in violation of that. And then also there is a board attached, just one board attached to the freestanding sign advertising the sale of Swisher Sweets cigarillos. So definitely he's selling those. And then number 6, there should be no temporary signs or signage rather on the premises are posted to the exterior or interior of windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. Now he's still in violation of this. Of course, this kind of goes hand in hand with number 5. There are, again, window signs displaying pizza and tripe. And then also there is a board that is zip tied to the freestanding sign advertising the Swisher Sweet cigarillos. And then lastly, number 8, all windows and doors must have no boards, mesh, grates, materials, or coverings of any kind. Windows and doors may have the proper blinds or curtains on the inside of the windows. Now, he is still in violation of this. There are still metal grates inside of the storefront windows. He has not removed those. I think that's one of the bigger concerns. Now, he did attempt to go to conditional use hearing to have the conditions amended. But as you know, from I think last week, it was on the agenda for approval from the Board of Public Service, but the board did not approve the amended conditions. I think there was opposition from the Neighborhood Stabilization Officer as well as Alderwoman Carol Spencer in regard to the amending of those conditions.
Okay, so just to be clear, we are still on, the gentleman is still in violation of condition 2, 5, 6, and 8.
And 8, yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's any questions from any of our board members. Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. If there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. Is there anyone present there in the office with you, Dre?
No, sir.
Hey, is there anyone online who wishes to testify? Okay, seeing none. The board asks at this time the conditional use permit holder, please come forward and be sworn in.
Is Jabron Salem?
Okay, can you please be sworn in, Dre?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Jabron, do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, miss. I swear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you please state your name and address, sir?
Yes, 1020, Jabron Salem, 1027 St. Charles Drive, Valley Park, Missouri, 63118.
Okay, and go ahead and tell the board, please respond to the violations or what has been presented today.
No, right now, today, I got the whole picture clear for what should I have and what I should not have. So I have sort of the inspector come in and took some photos in the store, and I would like to see those photos and point them out for me exactly what needs to be removed from the store. Okay. For the signage on the windows, there's this gate. We locked it in after there was a break inside the store in September last year. We kept it the way it is because it was glass, and when they break inside the store, that gate was always open. we have decided to close it just to keep the store secured. It's not in the way, it's not in the customer's way. It's nice and clear. You could see through it. It's possible for us to keep it open, but at the end of the night, we need to close this gate.
Okay. So I want to ask just a couple of questions here. So this is a revocation hearing, but this is a revisit. We looked at this one about 60 days ago and we had this conversation. And so the first question I guess I would have is that, you know, when it talks about the sale of items that can be used or intended for drug paraphernalia, and it lists all these different examples of, you know, Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swish Sweets, Flitterillos, Backwoods, all those different type of things. This was brought up at the last hearing. So tell me what's not clear about that you don't understand that you're not supposed to have that.
I wasn't clear for me to have the Rillos, the packages to sell them individual. I mean, to sell them as it's marked, because it wasn't clear for me if I was supposed to have the touches or supposed to sell them in the boxes individually. But if that's the issue, I have no problem with removing all those items. They're tobacco products.
I guess the problem I guess I see is that for 60 days since our last hearing, there's been plenty of opportunity to have this conversation. Why hasn't any conversation been initiated asking what you need to remove? Have you done that? Have you contacted anyone?
I asked, but I think I have asked, but I think the way my question when I asked it wasn't clear to the person I asked. And now when he was speaking about it, talking about it, now I get the whole picture about it, what needs to be removed from the store and what needs to be sold and not to be sold over there.
Okay. Same thing in my mind goes with the temporary signage, the permits, all those things. These conditions are on there.
That sign, it was kind of hard for me to get the gate. So there's the window, and the sign is between the gate and the window, and there's a lock on that gate. Okay, I was looking for that gate key to find it and take those signs. It's a small sign. It's a 3x2, I believe, and it's easy for me to remove it. And I really appreciate that. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna take it out, and I will take that sign down.
Any other questions from any of our board members here today? Okay, seeing none, thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, if there's anyone present opposing this revocation that wish to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Okay, seeing none, the continued hearing numbered 128-269-RH is now closed and submitted. The board will now proceed with its regular agenda. Can you please call the roll?
Dr. Echols,
Present.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Isom, Director Russell, Director Scobie,
Here.
Director Wilson,
Here.
President Braddock.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call the meeting order.
Recommendation that approval be given as follows. Plans and specifications for letting number 8735 Cervantes Convention Center, expansion and modernization, early utilities package number 2020-31-087, St. Louis, Missouri, at an estimated cost of $1,329 and is authorized by ordinance number 69736 and funded by account number 1218-7088302-56590000. PSA number 1253, update to the airport pavement management plan at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, St. Louis, Missouri, with Crawford, Mary, and Tilly Inc. for the maximum agreement amount of $4,332. Oh, sorry. Yeah. $4,332, 252. I didn't say that right. I can't see. Finish reading. I can't see it. I'm sorry.
From the Office
I'm
of
sorry.
Special Events,
Yeah.
request for one special event to be approved, subject to certain conditions. Connection Block Party at 6701 Virginia on October 23rd from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. President and Directors of Human Services, Parks, Recreation and Forestry, Public Utilities and Streets. Joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 129440, request from Veterans Community Project. Request for public improvement at 1515 North Grand Boulevard for the demolition of existing buildings, sidewalks, and mounds of rubble that remain. Proposed improvements include construction of a 7,940 square foot, one-story community center building, a 6,250 square foot, one-story outreach center building, 50 slab-on-grade tiny homes, sidewalk on-site parking facilities, and necessary associated utility infrastructure improvements located within the right-of-way of the public streets will include new sidewalk, new curb ramps, water main connections, gas connection, curb and gutter, and pavement patches for associated utility work. Application number 129441, request from Euclid South Community Improvement District at Euclid from Laclede to Lindell with work on Laclede, Buckingham Alley, and West Pine for public improvement of a curb alignment, bump outs at intersections, exposed aggregate sidewalks, curb ramps, crosswalk, tree grates, street trees, planters, and standard city street crepe pink gratinoid poles, decorative inscription, and King LED light fixtures. Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry, recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 129422, request from Starfire Corporation to conduct a 1.3G and 1.4G pyrotechnic display in Forest Park at Central Fields for the Forest Park Balloon Race event on Friday, September 17 at 9 p.m. and at 9:40 p.m. Directors of Public Utilities and Safety, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 129442, subdivide the remaining lot 2A with an address of 3431 through 3433 Texas Avenue in City Block 1565. Application number 129443, consolidate lots at 2720 and 2722 Sheridan Avenue in City Block 974. Directors of Public Utilities and Streets. Application number 129371, build line of conduit from Ameren Kingsbury Southwest to the existing and proposed easement at 500 de Belvedere, crossing into city right-of-way and under the trolley tracks and on the east side of de Belvedere to the Ameren manhole in front of 541 de Belvedere. Director of Streets, recommendation that approval be given as follows. Affidavit of Solution Concepts LLC petition number 6866 to vacate the westernmost 170.44 feet plus 80 inches of the 20-foot wide east-west alley in City Block 4233 as bounded by Borday, Thatcher, East Railroad, and Antelope. There are no conditional uses.
Thank you, Dre. First, I'd like to handle hearing numbered 128269RH, Dutchtown Market LLC, Jobran Salem, 2821 Merrimack Street is a convenience store with cooking and full package liquor. This was a continued hearing from the 8th of June, 2021. First of all, we heard from the zoning administrator's representative that as of yesterday during the inspection, there were still violations of conditions number 2, 5, 6, and 8, which are all the conditions that were in violation and on the 8th of June. Then we also heard from our conditional use permit holder who stated basically that he really didn't understand what he needed to do there and that there's an issue with the door and break-ins, and that's why the grate that is there needs to be there, and that, there are some signs, and, if they need to come down, he'll take them down. So with that little bit of a background, I'd like to open the floor for discussion from the board.
This is Kurt Scobie. I was a little disappointed that the more effort hadn't been done to address these issues. That was the whole purpose of granting an extra 60 days. It doesn't appear to me that a good faith effort was made to address the issues. And I really don't believe that in another 60 days or so that we would have them addressed then.
Okay, thank you, Director. Is there any other comments from our board directors?
Yeah, this is Director Eccles. So I echo Director Scobie's sentiments. A good faith effort has not been made, and the information provided in the documentation that was submitted to the owner was clear and really specified what needed to be addressed in order for them to be compliant with city rules and regulations.
Okay, thank you, Director. Any other comments from any of our other directors?
Director Wilson, I concur with both Dr. Eccles and Kurt.
Thank you, Director. Any further comments?
It's just, maybe I'm being redundant at this point. This is Hayes. Yes, I think a minimum of 60 days is ample amount of time based upon the 4 violations that still exist to address.
Thank you, Director. Seeing no further comments from any other board directors, I would ask for a motion, please.
I move to revoke the permit. Scobie?
Second, Eccles.
Okay, been moved and seconded to revoke. Can you call the roll, please?
Second,
Director Eccles,
Aye.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Isom, Director Russell, Director Scobie,
Aye.
Director Wilson,
Aye.
and President Bradley.
Aye, revoked. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from our last meeting on September 7th, 2021. Are there any questions or comments on those meeting minutes? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Excuse me, Rich. Hayes motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second, Scobie?
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Eccles,
Aye.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Isom, Director Russell, Director Scobie,
Aye.
Director Wilson,
Aye.
and President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on today's agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
So moved, Eccles.
Second, Hayes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Eccles,
Aye.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Isom, Director Russell, Director Scobie,
Aye.
Director Wilson,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Before we adjourn today, are there any questions or comments from any of our board directors? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, Hayes.
Second,
Second,
Eccles.
Scobie?
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Have a nice afternoon.